All right, we're getting another dream building session started with Joanne and Jen. I'm so excited to have Jen here. This is the actual first time that Jen and I have had a conversation about her big dreams. This is actually the first conversation we've ever had, period. So we're putting it all out there. We're putting it out there for you to watch and for you to hear more about Jen, her experience with, going through this coming up of her big dream, why it's important to her. And then also I'm going to be leading Jen through a tapping session to support her in releasing any kind of fearful emotions that come up. So hang with us. It's going to be a fun ride. And Jen, all right, so let's go ahead and get this party started. I would love to know, what is your big dream? And you kind of told me like a little bit over like in our entry as far as writing goes, but I'd love to hear you kind of explain more.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, my big dream in a nutshell is just to be home with my family and be a supporting, role model for them. Right now it's actually a crucial part in my life because I'm actually expecting and
Oh,
I'm
yay.
due next month. So
Okay.
it's been, very chaotic in here because I'm trying to get all of that straightened out, with everything that goes through as a first time mother. And I had actually quit my corporate job. I worked in corporate America for many years, and about a year and a half ago, I decided that I wanted to quit my job because it was really demanding. My husband also has a very demanding job, and the two of us I just couldn't imagine our lives like just being so chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
So one of us had to, think about the future, and that was me. And I also wasn't feeling fulfilled in my career at the time.
Okay.
So that was like just a few things that kind of led me to this current journey that I'm on. And fast forward a year and a half, here I am. I decided to go into business for myself. So
Okay.
I'm actually a certified yoga instructor. So I teach yoga. I'm taking a little time off from that because of the whole pregnancy thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I also teach corporate yoga, and I teach like at gyms. So that's something that I've been really passionate about. And I wasn't able to teach as much when I was in corporate America because,
Right.
it was kind of chaotic because I'd be working till 6 or 7, so I couldn't make like a morning class or a late night class. So it was really nice to be able to do that. And so that's changed already since I've left. And
Mm-hmm.
then I also started pursuing real estate just because I was really like drawn to it by its like entrepreneurship. And when you talk to a lot of really big time agents, you realize how focused they are on like the bigger picture and how they dream big. And I don't know, it just kind of fit my personality. And a lot of them do meditate, and I was very surprised by that because they believe in like what you project is what you get kind of thing, especially when it's 100% commissions based kind of job. So I just thought it was a really good fit for my personality and where I was going in life. And things in my business have been growing. It does take some time to build up a career in real estate since you're doing it
Yeah.
yourself, your business. There's no one who's handing you anything.
Right.
This year, I've actually been having a fantastic year. So, and
Good.
yeah, and being pregnant. So I'm pretty proud of that. But, the biggest thing for me really is having the type of job through real estate and yoga where I have the flexibility to be at home and still support, the family and bring in some income. And it's just a little bit of the best of both worlds.
Yes.
So my big dream here isn't, to become a millionaire or anything. It's really just to have a really happy, home life and work life balance and being able to be there for my children. And one of my goals for that is having enough money to put into the bank so that we can save to put a down payment on a bigger home, because right now we're in a condo.
Mm-hmm.
So as our family continues to grow, which is what our plan is, I want to be able to provide. And my husband, with his job, is able to support us for, paying the bills and things like that. But I want to be able to be the one that's able to put 20% down into a bank for our next home.
Yeah.
So for me, that's really my big dream, is getting there and having that.
Well, okay. I think a lot of people can relate to your big dream because, it's the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? You're getting this time with your family, and you're also contributing to your family, and you're contributing out into the world, right? And so, supporting someone in a home purchase is a really big deal. Emotionally, it's one of the most emotional, I think, investments people make, and also most likely one of the largest financial investments that they're going to make, right? Or financial commitments, right? I mean, to be committed to, just the longevity of what a typical mortgage is, right? So that's a really big deal. You're holding a lot of emotional space for people, right? And then teaching yoga. I'm a yoga teacher too. So I love, for me, it's like I love leading people into a space of quiet, in a space of connection to themselves through yoga. So I think that these things that you want to do, they are beneficial to the world, and they're beneficial to you, and that it supports you also in creating this balance in your family life. That is a win-win, win-win-win-win-win all around. So I love it. Okay, so do you have like a time frame in mind that you would like to have this sort of in realization by?
So you mean like when I want to meet my goal?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, realistically, I would love to do it in the next year or so, but I do feel that, I'm having a baby in a month, so things may not, work out that way. And I have to allow some like room there for the adjustment period. So I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. So realistically, probably looking at next 2 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can relate a little bit as far as, when I had my first child, my husband and I, we lived in a very small space. It was like around 900 square feet. But we had our son, and up until when he was about to turn 2 and I was about to give birth to my second child, that was when I was like, okay, like I do need more space. Our family needs more space. And my son was getting to be 2, so he's going to want to be outside a lot more, right? So, that time frame that you're giving yourself, I think, is actually in alignment with where your child will be, where your family will be. So I think that, your desire to have that within the next year or two is awesome. Okay, so I think, we can guess, who's watching can guess why this is important to you. But really, like, why is this important to you? Why is it important to you to have like this balanced life? And why is it important to you to, create this dream for your family?
Yeah, so kind of in the beginning, I mentioned that I'm not looking to become a millionaire here, but I think that, having a comfortable living for me and my family is extremely important for me because, my parents were able to do that. And, I just really want to be able to provide the same to my children, if not a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's funny because, I know that when you think like big dream, it's like, I'm not asking to have a Mercedes or anything like that. Like really, it's just, I just want to have that fulfillment in life. And and that's kind of my path and the way that things have worked out for me. Like I left corporate America because I didn't find the fulfillment in being a marketing manager, sitting behind a desk and finding ways to sell people to buy more products. Like to me, that was just empty and it made me hate my job. So when I thought about what is important to me and what's important in life, it comes down to love. It comes down to family, and that's it.
I love you. I just love you. This is so great because I really feel that this is a realization that many people are having. I was just talking to a friend the other day. It's like, in her late 20s and early 30s, she did all the things that she thought she should do or was supposed to do, right? And then in her 30s, it was like, oh, well, that's great to have those things, but that's really not what's fulfilling. And so I love that, people are coming to this. So you are so not alone in this feeling of like, I'm not trying to live some extravagant lifestyle. I'm not trying to, rake in millions of dollars a year. You want what I think all people want is just a fulfilling life. So I love that, at the core of that, it comes down to that, you know, that essence of just having that fulfilling life. Because I mean, what else are we here for, right?
Right.
So
And to
think
pass
about
that.
what I like to do. Were you saying something?
Oh yeah, and I was going to say, just to add to what you said, that we want to have this fulfilling life, but we also want to pass it down to our future generations, and our children are those people right now, and you want to instill that in them so that they can continue to pass it on, and
Mm-hmm.
our whole planet in harmony, which I think we need right now.
Oh my gosh, yes, exactly.
Because we're all very materialistic. I was watching a documentary last night, Minimalist or Minimalism, I forget. It's on Netflix,
I
but
love that movie. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just pretty much it's kind of like this. I mean, I'm not going to the extreme where I'm going to empty out my closet, but I think it comes down to what you said. It's that core value that we're starting to realize that, you can work your way up and make tons of money, but you find that it's very lonely up there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I love The Minimalist. I love their blog. I love that movie. I've always been, very simple too. Like I really have always tapped into like the greater meaning, like behind things. But I really feel like it's easy to get caught up in
Yeah.
having that really cool car that represents you, or having a home that is really a representation of you, which that representation might be expensive, right? It might be a little bit pricey, and that's fun and that's cool, but it's not necessary, and it's fleeting, right? So, we all know this. Once we get something new, it's really awesome for the first 2 weeks or maybe, and then we're like, oh, okay, that's just part of my stuff now, right?
It wears off. Absolutely.
It does wear off, yes. Okay, so let's talk about when you've realized this space, when you've got this balance of work and contributing, and you've got this family life nurturing. When you're having that balance, you know what are you feeling, and then like who are you being, like are you a little bit different than you are today, like as far as certain qualities are expressed more maybe, and then also what does it feel like, how does it feel in your body, how does it feel to just be in that space of having that dream realized.
Yeah, so just, the past year and a half since I've made the move, I can tell you that I feel that I live my authentic self every day. I am more authentic, and, just like what you said before, like you touched on being a real estate agent. I know people think of it as a sales job, but one of the reasons I was gravitated towards it was also just the fact that it's, like you said, that emotional experience that these people go through. And I've become a part of people's lives. Like I become their therapist. People have cried to me. People hug me. People kiss me. People tell me they love me. Like it's all kinds of stuff. And it's, you build these emotional connections that I thought you could do, but I didn't know, like, to the extent. Like I built friendships with these people. and it's fantastic. And I feel that, you know, I'm really helping them because it can be a very stressful experience.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I'm doing this as a job, but people are looking at this as only a piece of their life. Like they still have their career, they still have parents or families or kids or whatever is in their life. So this added stress could really take a toll on them. So I kind of use my yoga, you know, like teachings as well, and kind of instill all of that into it. And it's just like, you know, it's interesting mix, but I think it works. And I also feel like I'm not compromising myself. I'm being who I am.
Oh my God. Yes. So you are tapped into your authentic self. You're expressing your life from that space, and you're connecting with people. You're supporting people on this very emotional journey. And yes, you know, it is stressful. You know, making big decisions are, you know, they can be stressful in people's lives, and a home purchase is a big decision, you know. All right, let me talk about this part. So, all right, so we've talked about how, you know, what your big dream is, how you're going to feel, why you want it. And so part of my way of supporting people in this whole dream building or dream realizing process is one, taking those, you know, 1 to 2 joyful actions every day. You know, so you have a marketing background, right? And so you are full aware of all the styles of marketing out there, all the channels of marketing, just all the different ways to reach people, right? You know, at a, you know, gut level, you know, to get them to respond. And then also just the actual channel of reaching them, whether it's like through Facebook or Google or a blog or whatever, right? Okay. So we know that we need to be in action out in the world, right? But we're told a lot of times, you got to do this to get this. You got to do this to get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not always the case, because you know, and I know, if you follow exactly what someone else did, you're probably not going to have the same experience because you're a different person. You know, you are the factor in everything. So taking these 1 to 2 joyful actions every day that feel good to you towards your big dream, whatever that is, right? Getting out there in the world so that the universe can really work her magic. And then the second thing is that what keeps our dreams from actually being received into our lives is our own resistant emotions around that, right? So our feelings that come up of basically feelings of fear. It could be doubt, worry, stress, anxiety, frustration, whatever you call it, it comes from that space of fear, right? So we're human. We experience fear. It's totally normal. So that's going to happen. So what I'd like to move into next is talking about some of the fears that come up for you when you think about your big dream, or you think about the obstacles that could be in the way, just whatever your mind kind of goes to. So if you have any resistant emotions right now, and you may or may not.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
So obviously, you know, being pregnant, there's obviously some resistance there because there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of like, and you hear everyone loves to share their stories about pregnancy and delivery and after delivery. And so, you know, there's a lot of influence there. So not, you know, me not knowing what to expect, the unknown makes me nervous with that. Obviously, I said that I wanted to have a happy family, and, you know, that is obviously a big thing. But I think the biggest thing for me is the fact of being able to provide.
Yeah.
So the financial piece of things is, can I truly be able to do that, considering both of my jobs are pretty much based on me. I don't have salary.
Right.
So as a yoga teacher, it's the same thing. As a real estate agent, it's the same thing. I have to go out there and find income. So that could be stressful, and it does cause stress. So I've been working with myself trying to get rid of those emotions and that negativity and like that resistance. But like you said, we're human, and I think it's bound to happen. And I think more so for someone who is in that position.
Yes. Okay. So you want to be able to provide. So when you say that you're feeling stressed about it, like why? Why wouldn't you be able to provide?
Because since it's commission based,
Okay.
I have to go out and find business.
And why would it be difficult for you to find business?
Well, because it's not really that easy.
Why isn't it that easy? Like, what is it that you think?
Like finding new clients can be difficult at times. So for example, let's just say you work an open house and you meet a bunch of people there. The probability of working with them is pretty slim. You might be able to convert one or two people, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of actions that you do in the sales job that you do put a lot of emotion, a lot of time and effort into them that can equate to no money.
Mm-hmm.
So that creates a little bit of that emotion.
Right.
And that stress.
Right. So, and that's why I think it's important to do those actions that you want to do, the ones that you actually feel like good doing. So, because this is the thing. This is a thing about all of our work industries. There is a common thread in how you're supposed to do that business, how you're supposed to get clients, right?
Right.
There's a common thread, and you're like, okay, I'm going to follow that common thread, right? But what I'm trying to say is that common thread may or may not be the way for you. And
right.
but the way for you is through your own joyful, inspired action. So, what I encourage people to do, what I encourage you to do, and you may be doing this fully, is, asking yourself, do I really want to do these actions, or do I think that I have to do these actions in order to get something in return, right? Because when we're doing to get something in return, usually we're left having, just our expectations being let down, right? We end up being a little bit disappointed because it just doesn't work out how we want it to, right?
Forcing it in a sense.
Yes, forcing it, right. So by doing joyful, inspired actions, you are out there, putting yourself in reach of the universe, right? The universe can't take you off of your couch and put you in front of people. Like, you have to do that. You have to have the energy, or you have to have the draw from within to do that. And then the universe gets to bring Sally to the party, and you meet Sally, and then she connects you with 10 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like, that one person could be your sales connection in your whole career that just got you going. You know what I mean? But it's going to the open houses, like, for example, and being there so you can meet people, right? So you can be in the reach of the universe's magic, because you're not in the game if you're not taking actions towards your big dream. So, all right, let's talk more about your fears of not being able to provide. Have you ever in your life felt that you haven't been able to provide for yourself?
Not since I've become independent. So,
Okay.
I don't think I have, because right out of college, I had a job lined up and always had work, always, had a steady salary for the past 10 years. This is the first time in my life that I haven't had that.
Okay. So it's been more employer-employee relationship previously. And now it's like, I am the employer.
Yes, exactly.
So you're really stepping into your own faith in yourself, right?
Yeah.
And belief in yourself.
Yeah, which is a transition within itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And even though there's a lot of real estate agents out there, there's a lot of very successful real estate agents out there. They still can't create your career for you, right?
Right.
You have to be the one to create this career for yourself. Whereas a lot of times when we're an employee, that position is created, we step into it, they tell us what to do, right?
Correct.
In
Yeah.
this sense, you're leading the whole ship, and you're finding mentors and teachers and different things along the way. But there is no, this is your um, work track, you know, because you're making up your own career track now. So yeah, so it's kind of freeing and kind of scary, right?
Yeah, it
It's
is.
all up to you. Hmm.
It's a rush of emotions. It's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's scary. Um, and that goes for both, both things, even because as a corporate yoga teacher, what I try to do is I try to go into businesses and teach in their conference rooms.
Right.
So you have to go after the businesses as well. So it's kind of similar to real estate in a
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so now everything I'm doing is based on, like you said, myself and believing in myself, having the faith in myself, and letting go of what I've come to, think of as the norm, which is
Right.
being an employee for
Mhm.
someone else.
Yes.
Kind of, I guess it's also, just a way of growing into who I am, because I think a lot of us don't have that opportunity when you're told what to do.
Totally. Yeah. I 100% agree. I mean, you have to have a very special employer to really feel like you can grow personally, professionally, and maybe even spiritually, right? You have to have a pretty special employer to do that. And I think in my entire work career, which is, maybe 15 years or maybe 20 years, I've had a handful of employers like that. And I've had two handfuls of the other that were just more either supervisors or employers, right? That were just a little bit more on the controlling side, versus like, oh, okay, you know what you're doing. I'm going to trust that you're going to get your job done. So it takes a very special employer, and that's rare. So here you are out, and what I'm kind of seeing for you in this tapping session is not so much getting over the fears of not being able to do it or anything like that, but just more stepping into, I've got this, I can do it, so more an affirmative tapping session. So I like to do tapping sessions that are both releasing of emotions, and then also tapping sessions that are sort of like affirming those emotions, affirming those states of being that we know ourselves to be, but are, not familiar with maybe. It's like so back in 2017, so far back last year, I really was starting to claim that I'm a goddess, right? And for me to claim that I was a goddess, I was like, damn, like that sounds like braggy in a way. Like, who is she to claim she's a goddess? But I'm like, we're all divine. We're all divine. So you're a god or you're a goddess. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like it's true. But it's, part of this whole human journey is, how much do you want to play in the human world and how much do you want to play in the divine world, right? And what you're stepping into, I feel, is that heart's calling, which is your divine connection. So you're stepping more into this, you know, the divine side of yourself where it's like, okay, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust that it's going to work out, versus the human side where it's like, this is planned for me and this is a given, or, this is more secure, whatever. And here's the thing, this is what I believe. I think it's so great that we're humans and we're spirits in the same, that we can play in both worlds. We can play in the human world. We can, we can feel the ecstatic joy. We can feel the deep pain. We can feel everything in between. Then we can step into our divine nature. We can feel that connection. We can feel that trust. We can feel that knowing, and then we can embody that. So it's like a game that we're playing, and we get to choose how much we want to step into kind of each side of that, right? Okay, so anything else you'd like to share before we go into a tapping session?
I think I'm okay. Is there anything else that you would want me to share?
I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to do a tapping session. And before I took the call today, I got this Surrender essential oil, and I was like, I don't know, I felt like I needed an essential oil by my side. And so this one's Surrender. And before every tapping session, what I like to do is I like to get centered, and I like to surrender. So if you want to just close your eyes, and if you watching this want to join us in this tapping session, please feel free to do so. And I think it's important that, we take the time throughout our day to recognize this deep connection that we have to ourselves and to each other. Your story is my story. Your story is someone else's story. I can relate so much in what you shared today, and it just really touches me because I know it touches other people. We all want this happy, fulfilling life. And I think we come up against whether or not we deserve to have it because of our, society's teachings or our religious teachings, or we see people in the world that don't have as much or that are fighting for their lives. And here we are wanting to live this happy, fulfilled life, right? Well, I do believe that we are all here for our own unique journey. And we don't know the agreement that each person's soul has had with their creator on what they are to experience in this earth life that they've chosen, right? So it is not, or I want to say, it is okay for us to follow these heart's desires. It is okay to feel like we deserve those heart's desires when it appears that other people aren't fulfilling their heart's desires. But again, we don't know what each soul is here to do. We don't even know what our soul is here to do. What we do know is that we are guided by our soul, by our heart, by God. We are guided by that creator. But we don't know, we don't have the guidebook. The guidebook is written as we go, it's written ahead. I don't know how it works. All I know is that we each have our own path to follow, and it's written in the heart, right? So here we are living this life, and it's a beautiful life, and we deserve it. All right, so let's go into our tapping session. So we're going to start with the karate chop point. And so Jennifer, you're going to repeat this karate chop point until I say to go ahead and go to the crown of the head. And you were on a tapping session with me one time, right? On a group tapping session, yeah. Your hair was pulled back and you were sitting on the couch, I think.
Wow, you have a really good memory.
Yeah, so we actually have kind of been connected before, but this is our first time really connecting, and it's been quite amazing. Okay, so here we go into our tapping session, and I just surrender to whatever comes out of my mouth. I surrender that, divine guidance is speaking through me and is impacting you, impacting Jen, and that's just what we're here for. That's all we're here for. We're here to make an impact. We're here to express ourselves. That's all we're doing. So even though, repeat after me, go ahead. Even though this path I'm following
This path I'm following
isn't paved.
isn't paved.
I completely love and accept myself.
I completely love and accept myself.
Even though this path I'm choosing
Even though this path I'm choosing
doesn't look like the easy path,
doesn't look like the easy path,
I completely love and accept myself.
I completely love and accept myself.
Even though I'm stepping out on a limb,
Even though I'm stepping out on a limb,
doing something I've never done before,
doing something I've never done before,
being in charge of myself,
being in charge of myself,
I completely love and accept myself.
I completely love and accept myself.
All right, so let's go to the top of the head, and then we'll just continue around as we share back and forth. All right. This path I'm on,
This path I'm on,
it feels right.
it feels right.
It feels like I'm being guided.
It feels like I'm being guided.
And I love how this feels.
And I love how this feels.
I know what it feels like
I know what it feels like
to sit at a desk
to sit at a desk
and do what doesn't feel right.
and do what doesn't feel right.
I'm very clear
I'm very clear
on that contrast.
on that contrast.
And because I'm so clear on it,
And because I'm so clear on it,
this is a guiding tool
this is a guiding tool
for me as I develop
for me as I develop
my own career path.
my own career path.
I know what doesn't feel good.
I know it doesn't feel good.
And now I'm feeling
And now I'm feeling
what does feel good.
what does feel good.
So I have a really good sense
So I have a really good sense
on the path I need to follow.
on the path I need to follow.
Follow the path
Follow the path
that feels good.
that feels good.
And that sounds so simple.
That sounds so simple.
This is my strategy
This is my strategy
to follow what feels good.
to follow what feels good.
That seems so illogical,
It seems so illogical,
but it feels so right.
but it feels so right.
It feels so right.
It feels so right.
And that is the way
And that is the way,
the universe communicates to me.
and that the universe communicates to me.
The universe communicates
The universe communicates
to the way I feel.
to the way I feel.
So when I'm feeling off,
So when I'm feeling off,
it's the sign from the universe
it's a sign from the universe
to check back in
to check back in
and to ask myself
and to ask myself
what would feel better.
what would feel better.
So I'm not doing anything wrong
So I'm not doing anything wrong
on my career path.
on my career path.
I'm going to feel my way to this.
I'm going to feel my way to this.
And I know the contrast.
And I know the contrast.
I know it feels good.
I know it feels good.
I'm feeling that now.
I'm feeling that now.
And I know it feels not so good.
And I know it feels not so good.
And that's my strategy.
And that's my strategy.
To do what feels good.
To do what feels good.
Because that's the universe guiding me.
Because that's the universe guiding me
Into my fulfilling life.
into my fulfilling life.
Into this life
Into this life
where I'm contributing
where I am contributing
my gifts out into the world.
my gifts out into the world.
And my gifts out into my family.
And my gifts out into my family.
And I can do this
I can do this
because I'm following the path
because I'm following the path
that feels good.
that feels good.
That's the path
That's the path
that my heart guides me on.
that my heart guides me on.
So when I find myself
So when I find myself
not feeling so good,
not feeling so good,
it's just a signal
it's just a signal
from the universe
from the universe
to just realign.
to realign,
So moving forward,
to moving forward.
I'm guided by my internal compass,
I'm guided by my internal compass,
the compass of what feels good
the compass of what feels good
and the compass of what doesn't feel so good.
and what doesn't feel so good.
Neither one is wrong or right.
Neither one is wrong or right.
It's just my cue
It's just my cue
to take notice
to take notice
of what feels good to me.
of what feels good to me.
And what feels good to me
And what feels good to me
may not feel good to another.
may not feel good to another.
So when I'm advised
So when I'm advised
to do things
to do things
that feel good to others,
that feel good to others,
I'm going to check in
I'm going to check in
to see if it feels good with me.
to see if it feels good with me.
Because just because it worked for you
Just because it works for me
doesn't mean it works for me.
doesn't, sorry, that's not what doesn't mean it works for me.
Right. So just because you've done something
Just because you've done something
doesn't mean I should do it.
doesn't mean that I should do it.
I love advice.
I love advice.
I love mentorship.
I love mentorship.
But the biggest mentor
The biggest mentor
lives inside of me.
lives inside of me.
And that's who I'm guided
And that's who I'm guided
by feeling good,
by feeling good,
by feeling aligned.
by feeling aligned.
And because of this,
And because of this,
I can trust myself.
I can trust myself.
I can trust myself
I can trust myself
to lead this career path
to lead this career path
and to lead my family
and to lead my family
into this fulfilling life
into this fulfilling life
that is so meant to be ours.
that is so meant to be ours.
And I know that it's meant to be ours
And I know it's meant to be ours
because it's within my heart.
because it's within my heart.
This is not something my human mind drew up.
This is not something my human mind drew up.
It's something I'm feeling called to.
It's something I'm feeling called to.
My child
My child
wants a mother
wants a mother
who is fulfilled.
who is fulfilled.
And that means
And that means
she will be expressing herself
she will be expressing herself
out in the world
out in the world
and into our family.
and into our family.
This mother
This mother
will be a mother my daughter or son
will be a mother my daughter or son
will look up to.
will look up to.
And I'm proud of that.
And I'm proud of that.
Because living this fulfilling life
Because living this fulfilling life
means that my child
means that my child
is at a greater advantage
is at a greater advantage
of living their fulfilling life.
of living their fulfilling life.
And that's what we're here to do.
And that's exactly what we're here to do.
We are here to be happy.
We are here to be happy.
We're here to be fulfilled.
We are here to be fulfilled.
And I am following that inner guidance.
And I am following that inner guidance.
And it feels so right.
And it feels so right.
And I trust it.
And I trust it.
And I trust myself.
And I trust myself.
And I trust myself.
And I trust myself.
I trust myself.
I trust myself.
Ah, wow. Let's take it all in. Take a deep breath. Wow, I feel like that message was for so many people. I feel like that message was for you, was for me. It's for so many mothers out there that want to be that leader for their family, for their child. I mean, we are creating a new generation of people, and we're doing a really good job. We're doing a really good job. Yay for us!
That was great.
All right, Jen. So, anything come up for you during that? You said that it was great. It really felt very affirmative to me and just really beautiful.
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, I as we were going through it, I felt that I had like a realization. I was like, yes, I am doing this. Like the stress that I've had towards being a mother these past few weeks, these past few months is because of the pressure I'm putting on myself, because of I want to be that positive influence. I want to be able to live a fulfilling life that I can teach my daughter to live a fulfilling life, because I feel that that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
Yeah.
I honor you for recognizing that, before your daughter's even born. Like, what a gift that is to already have that space, already established for her to walk into. Like, we're going to live a fulfilling life. We're going to have bumps and stumbles along this fulfilling path. That's okay, right? But we're going to have a fulfilling life. Like, that's amazing. I love it. And your husband's a lucky man too.
Thank you. I'm telling
Yeah.
them.
Oh, that's right. You need to. All right, so that is how we usually wrap up these dream building sessions. So we are going to be checking back with Jen in about 30 days. We're going to find out, how this 30. Now, wait a minute. When are you due?
I'm not doing 30 days. I have 50
Okay.
days to go. So
How many?
50.
Okay, 50. Okay, yeah. So next time we see Jen, I'm pretty sure she'll still be pregnant. That's probably what needs to happen for her. And so we're going to do a follow-up in about 30 days. We're going to, just talk to Jen again, see how she's feeling. And it'll be really um, just such a beautiful experience to, see what unfolds over the next 30 days for her. So I will let you know when that comes out. And for now, I will see you in the next episode.